For more on this, let me bring in Democratic strategist Antoine Seawright and GOP strategist Alex Zdan, founder of Authentic Leadership for America PAC. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you and a happy early 4th of July. Alex, if I could, let me just start with you on this. Analysts predicted about double the number of jobs that were actually added. Unemployment went down, as more left the workforce. How worried should President Trump and Republicans be about this job market, you think?
It's always good to see unemployment going down, but obviously the economy has areas where it needs to be repaired, and President Trump is working on that along with Republicans. We want the economy to be strong. There's an AI boom that is fueling a lot of those gains on Wall Street, so that is encouraging. The health of this economy, Rome wasn't built in a day, and a great economy is not rebuilt overnight. President Trump is working very hard to deliver for the American people.
And Antoine, just to keep unpacking this, at the same time, the stock market is still rolling right along with the Dow scoring yet another record high at close on Thursday. So is it fair to say that the president's economic policies are working at least to some degree?
Well, the stock market is not the economy. We learned that over previous administrations. Here's the reality. Add this economy as another thing that President Trump has put his hands on that has failed. Maganomics has been a failure, and the American people are feeling the residue of that. Forget about trying to make ends meet. There are people putting two ends together, hoping they meet. And while Republicans have these pie-in-the-sky conversations around the stock market, the reality is many of Trump's supporters and many everyday Americans cannot afford to go into their local food market to put groceries on the table because the pricing is too high. America is too expensive. I would also add that we measure our economy from a micro and from a macro perspective, but the way I measure our economy is feelonomics. That's economics you and I can feel.
Sure.
And everyday Americans are struggling because this do-nothing Congress, this do-nothing president has done nothing about the affordability crisis they have created.
Alex, let me give you a chance just to respond to Antoine on that, because we have been having that conversation all week long, just the disconnect in feeling, right, between Wall Street and Main Street, and a lot of people saying, but I know what I'm paying at the gas station and I know what I'm paying at the grocery store. So your response to Antoine, and also what do you make of the disconnect?
Vibes don't put food on the table. Gas prices are going down. There are signs of health and strength from this economy. Yes, it is a challenge. We all want our economy to be as strong as it possibly can be. But the policies I see from Democrats fall into two categories. A, socialism, which most of the people in this country absolutely do not want. And B, bellyaching about the issues that plague us without offering any real solutions.
Well, that's simply...
Go right ahead and sit down. Excuse me, I'm talking. Excuse me. Bellyache all you want, but propose real solutions like helping people bring down the cost of health care by extending health savings accounts to veterans, seniors, and union members.
Respectfully, let me just tell you what Democrats have offered and what Republicans who are in charge have not. Democrats have put forth solutions to deal with this unnecessary health care crisis, like extending those Affordable Care Act tax credits that impact 18.2 million Americans in places that Donald Trump won. This president, this Congress refused to expand those. You talk about affordable housing, I'm glad you did. This president has refused to sign a bipartisan piece of legislation that would bring down the cost of housing because we have an accessibility and affordability crisis. What we have not seen is serious policies that have been put forth by the Republican majority who control three branches of government to do something about the affordability crisis they created. And I'm not sure where you get this idea from that somehow or another Democratic policies or some socialist agenda. Let me tell you what Democrats have laser focus on.
And Antoine?
Care and corruption. Those have been the three centerpieces of the Democratic platform.
If I could step in and ask you just a follow-up there, Antoine, because you and I have talked about this for months now, just the messaging of the Democratic Party. Democrats have struggled to find a unified message outside of just being anti-Trump. Just a few months out from the midterms now, do you think that your party has actually nailed down that messaging into a winning message come November?
Well, I think the message has been clear with all due respect, and that's been affordability, lowering the cost and making the playing field level for everyday Americans. That's why you've seen the success Democrats have had up and down the ballot since Donald Trump and Republicans have taken over this economy and taken over Washington, D.C. We have overperformed in every single election that have come about since the election and the swearing in of Donald Trump and this Republican majority. So whether you find yourself on the progressive left, whether you find yourself in the middle, or whether you find yourself as a more moderate Democrats, the through line has been affordability, lowering costs for everyday Americans, and dealing with the cuts that have come about because of this Republican majority. Largest cut to Medicaid, largest cut to Medicare, largest cut to SNAP benefits in American history, and Americans are suffering because of these policies.
Alex, I only have a few seconds left, but of course, let me give you just last word and chance to respond to Antoine there.
You mentioned a bipartisan housing bill. Bipartisan by its very nature means it got Republican votes, so I don't know what you were talking about there.
The president won't sign it into law. That's what
Hold on, you're doing it again. I see the Democrat ads too, and the Democrat ads for this midterm, especially in primaries, are bashing President Trump, bashing Israel, and saying abolish ICE. Abolishing ICE doesn't bring down the cost of food.
I'm going to end this spirited debate there, but Alex Zdan, Antoine Seawright, thank you both so much for your time. I imagine there will be conversations just like this all across the country this 4th of July holiday weekend. Hope you have a fabulous weekend, and we'll see y'all soon. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Markie.